What's up guys, it's Waggish American here today with another model build video. This one should be quick and short. This is a Bandai machine head. It says Mobile Suit Gundam on it too. I don't really watch Gundam anime or have a huge interest in Gundam in general. It's just not my subject. But I've seen some people build these, not these, but the full stuff. Very interesting, and I think sticker says $6. I paid $3.50 for it. So at $3.50, it's just a head. It's a small display piece. I think it'll be a fun way to just kind of test out how the building and weathering of this stuff goes, and it'll be my first Bandai kit. So cracking open the box. Now, I don't know a word of what any of this is. I will have to look that up or try to use a Google Translate or something, because I have no idea what any of this means. But I did get the one I was hoping for. I kind of hand weighed each box. I figured that this one, this long blade looking one, would probably weigh more than the other one since it had more material, and I was right. And just looking at the parts in the bag, it's very impressive. Crisply molded, pre-painted. I'm probably going to repaint these just because I don't know that I like the color scheme, and I bought this to build, not assemble. But everything looks really good. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, specifically. Over here, it almost looks like it's possible to build this thing lit up. I'm not sure how you'd light it up, because these pieces are all, at least as shown on the box, there's not really a clear piece, but these include full clear pieces. I'll see you at the build. Beginning the build, instead of going as per the instructions, I assembled some of the secondary parts of the exterior first. I did this mostly because I wasn't ready to paint, and I needed to build them anyway, so I might as well start with them. Overall, the fit was very good. I was very careful to use as little glue as possible because the fit on this kit is so tight that in a couple spots I used too much glue and actually created fit issues that had not been a problem before when I had just left it as a snap kit. Since I knew nothing about the type of plastic this was, I used super glue for almost all the joints here. I did later run some liquid cement, but the primary bonding agent in this build was super glue. Once I had finished assembling the extra exterior parts, the head and the tail, I then began to work on the interior structure of the head. I glued all the parts in with super glue. Once these were dry, I went through and painted the whole thing with a custom mixed dark gray color I mixed using Vallejo paints. You could build this without painting, however, it looked too plastic to me, and I wanted to experiment with some different techniques, so I painted it instead. While I had this mixture prepared, I also gave the insides of the exterior pieces several coats, as these would be visible once the kit was complete. For these large hand-brushed gray areas, I thinned my paints with 6 parts paint to 2 parts thinner, or in this case, clean water. This assures a nice even coat upon drying, as long as you give the model 2 or 3 coats of paint. Once the dark gray mix was dry, I took a light gray mix by Vallejo and put some on the brush, dabbed almost all of it off, and dry brushed the entire interior of the head. This really brought out the edges of the detail, and without taking a whole lot of time, took the kit from looking like a toy to looking like an actual model. Once I had finished dry brushing, I went through with Tester's Metallic Silver and Tester's Metallic Gold and repainted the respective gold and silver portions of the head. These would, with the exception of the silver part, these would be visible at the end of the build, and I'm very glad I took the time to repaint these. Originally, to paint what looks like hoses, I was going to paint them silver and then hit them with Panaline accent color. However, I changed my mind and instead painted them black before dry brushing with Tamiya X11 Chrome Silver. I much prefer the look that this had compared to the look that Option 1 had. Once all the painting was complete, I glued the 2 body shells together and attached the extra body parts. I then went and puttied what I had to, sanding it down. Very little putty was needed, and what putty I did have to add was due to my sloppiness with glue causing gaps. After priming, I painted all the parts with Tamiya XF7 Flat Red. I gave them one even coat without attempting any shading or anything. Here, I demonstrate my technique for doing multicolor chipping. First, I paint a small random blob of a lighter shade of the base color, in this case a pink. Then I came in with a gray and painted over almost all of the pink, leaving just the edges. This creates a 3D appearance for the chipping. Once that paint was dry, I used Tamiya Weathering Master Rust to create rust streaks. I wasn't really happy with the rust streaks, but I am a big fan of this new chipping method. Once all my paint had dried, I glued on the head, and with that, the model was complete. Alright, and here she is, all completed. Now, depending on how my camera focuses, you may or may not be able to see the actual color, but that red is Tamiya XF7 red, for people who are familiar with Tamiya. One thing I did forget to record was, just to give it a more faded look, I did go through after the fact and lightly brush some Tamiya Weathering Compound or Weathering Master snow and blend it onto the upper surfaces to make it look a bit more weird. Overall, I really liked this kit. It was a fun use of $3.50 or whatever the tiny sum I paid for it. It was a really fun opportunity to try both the chipping and some rust streaking. I really like how the 2-layer chipping came out. The rust streaking is alright. I need to work on that some more. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. Was definitely worth the $3.50 and the couple hours I spent doing it, and if I see another one, I'll probably grab it. If you enjoyed this video, please smack that like button. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.